Hey guys, it's me Taisha coming to you from random videos. I'm not a Charles de Gaulle. The video is going to be about Charles de Gaulle. I'm currently in LaGuardia International Airport. It's April 13th, and I'm going to give you the kind of rundown of Charles de Gaulle Airport that I don't think a lot of people talk about when they post Paris videos. I think they talk about the ease of getting from Charles de Gaulle Airport into Paris Central or Center City. It's pretty straightforward. You can either take a taxi, and the cool thing about the taxis is they're straight rate. So if you're going on the left side of the bank, it's one price, and if you're going on the right side of the bank, it's another price. For example, we stayed at a hotel behind the Notre Dame, so we paid what converts to almost like $70 because we took a taxi back to Charles de Gaulle because we had to. It's a horror story. If you're on the other side of the Seine River, it's cheap, but it's set price. Do not get in a taxi cab if there is no set price because they will rob you blind. So that's one option. Your second option is to take the metro. So you would take the express train to the metro station, and this is not free. It seems like it's free because you just get on the express train, but it is actually, I think, like, I cannot remember, it's either $6 or $8. I popped the info down at the bottom in the description box, but then you have to pay for your metro ticket. So you'll get to you'll get off the express train, and then you'll be at a center location where everybody takes the metro to go where they need to go, or take another train to go where they need to go. And from there, you will get your metro tickets. And it's very confusing, but there's usually people there to help you. And this video is not about that. This video is about the chaos of Charles de Gaulle go out of Paris. So it could be kind of, there's a word I'm looking for, simplistic to leave from Charles de Gaulle to go wherever you're going, because it's so easy, quote unquote, to get out of the airport, but it's vastly different when you're on the other end of it. You don't even see the other side of the airport, and I should have known this from the last experience I had with Charles de Gaulle. The last time we went during COVID, so I had to get a COVID test done. So I got it done at the airport in one of the pharmacies, and it was chaos that day. When I say chaos, oh my God, there were people like protesting, there were people with like guns, and it was just a madhouse. When I say madhouse, a madhouse. So I should have known that this time would also be a madhouse. But anyways, I digress. So here's the issue with Charles de Gaulle Airport. Let's say your flight is supposed to leave at 11:30. You would think it's 3 hours. So what is that? 9:30? No, 8:30, 9:30, 10:30. Well, I'll get there by 8:30. I'll be fine. If you get to Charles de Gaulle Airport at 8:30 with the intention of catching an 11:30 flight, you're gonna miss your flight. You're not gonna get your flight. If the plane actually takes off at 11:30, that means boarding starts an hour before. Because when I say chaos, I mean chaos. If your flight is at 11:30, you need to be at the airport by 6 o'clock. I kid you not. You need to be at the airport on your feet on the ground by 6:30, no later, for you to have any hope to get to your plane. Because here's the issue. Everybody and their mother is trying to go somewhere from Charles de Gaulle. Charles de Gaulle is an international hub. So you have people who are flying back to the States. You have people who are flying to Japan, to Australia, to New Zealand, to Canada, to China. All these different places, various parts of Africa, are trying to get home from Charles de Gaulle. So Charles de Gaulle is pushing through an enormous amount of people at a snail's pace. And when I tell you, the people who work at Charles de Gaulle could care less that you were running late. They could care less. There was a girl in front of me when we were in the TSA line. I was like, ma'am, I have a flight. I have to catch my flight. Will I be there? She was like, yeah, you'll be fine. You're not going to be fine. Because the thing is, they're not going to say, oh no, you're probably not going to catch your flight, because then you'll freak out and everybody else will freak out. So of course they're going to tell you you're fine. Side note, I would never be mean to any group of people who work in customer service, but the people who work at the airport can be jerks. And I understand the concept of this is my job. I'm here for 8 or more hours. I'm just gonna move at my pace. There is no urgency. When I say there is no urgency, there is no urgency. Do not think you will get anywhere fast. At the mindset of Charles de Gaulle Airport is hurry up and wait. So let me walk you through it. First of all, you're gonna get out of the airport, or let's say you take a taxi, because honestly, if I'm being honest with you, that is the best way to get to the airport. I would recommend you take the metro into Paris and take the taxi outside Paris. So I would take the metro when you land at Charles de Gaulle. I would take the metro to get to your station or your hotel. When you're leaving, I would organize a taxi to come pick you up, because if you have an 11 o'clock flight or an early flight, the traffic will be chaotic and you don't want to deal with that. So it takes an hour. Let me refrain when I say chaotic. Take my glasses off. It takes about an hour to get from anywhere in central Paris to Charles de Gaulle. We left giving ourselves 3 hours because there was an issue with our flight. I'll talk about that in another video. But it took us an hour to get through traffic. And the guy was trying. He was moving. It was bumper to bumper traffic. I'm getting worked up because I'm so it's so upsetting. So it was bumper to bumper traffic. And we got there and we told him we flew Iceland Air. But because we had an issue with Iceland Air, I'll talk about Iceland Air in a whole other video and why I do not recommend Iceland Air in any way, shape, or form. We didn't realize that Iceland Air changed our entire airline and put us on Delta, which was Air France. Yes, right, the confusion. So, we got off at the wrong terminal. We were supposed to be in Terminal 2. We got off at Terminal 1. And when we finally got to where we needed to be, it was almost 45 minutes later. So the guys tried to give us our new boarding passes. He was like, but you can't check your luggage because you didn't pay for luggage. And we were like, no. He was like, well, I don't know what to tell you about your luggage. I'm like, just give me back my luggage. I'll take it with me. So we kept our luggage, thank God. But because we were in the wrong terminal, we had to go to another terminal. Every time you go to a different terminal in Charles de Gaulle Airport, you have to go through security. Do not think because you've already been through security once that you don't have to go through security too. Security again, every terminal has their own security checkpoint. Passport check, bag check, and again, they don't move with any urgency. Set it down, and the issue is that people aren't compliant, so they don't do what they're supposed to do, or nobody's telling them what they need to do. It's like, do I take my shoes off? Do I take my laptop off? Do I need to take my coat off? Do I need to take my scarf off? Do I need to take what do I need to do? Do I need to take my belt off? Like, there's nobody there, and because you're in Paris, the first language is obviously French, then English, and then moving down from there. So yeah, that's chaotic. Then we get to where we need to be, and we run. And when I say run, we run. And I am in tears because I know we have missed our flight, and we missed our flight. And the guy actually yelled at us and said, well, you got here at 8:30, why didn't you make it? Because it could tell you what time we got our boarding pass. We got our boarding passes at 8:30. Our flight took off at 11:30. That's 3 hours, and we had just missed it. And when I say there was a lot of little tidbits that we could have probably did differently for us not to have missed it, but because I didn't know, right? Like, I didn't realize that every terminal we went through had to have a checkpoint. I didn't realize that Iceland Air doesn't have a port at Charles de Gaulle. They use a different airline. That stuff I didn't know because we were supposed to leave at 2, not 11:30. So our flight got canceled, and then Iceland Air put us on a different flight, but they didn't send us the flight information until like at 7:20, 25. Like, we were just gonna get up, have breakfast, and then go to the airport on a taxi cab. But yeah, it didn't work out that way. So anyways, my whole point of this video is to let you know that give yourself ample time to get to Charles de Gaulle Airport. Know what terminal you're gonna be in ahead of time, so you can get dropped off at the right terminal, so you don't have to go through multiple checkpoints. Make your life as easy as possible with your carry-ons and stuff like that. Like, the easier you can make everything, the less you have to carry on or the less you have to pull out, like laptops, all that good stuff. Like, have a system down pat, because you will need it. Have your passport in a neck holder or something always open to your phone, because that's passport. Just, I know we always wear our heaviest clothes, but if you're going in the colder months and you have a coat, a scarf, a sweater, heavy shoes, you're going to get uncomfortable. So that's going to raise your anxiety levels. So you're going to be anxious and you're going to be upset. So just give yourself ample time. If your flight is to leave at 11:30, be there by 6. If your flight is to leave at 2 o'clock, be there by 6. If your flight is to leave at 6 o'clock that afternoon, be there by 6. I know it sounds obnoxious, but you don't want to miss your flight. And last thing I'll tell you, and then I'll be done with this video before I get even more upset. They are prone to change your gate number. For example, and this happened the last time I flew out, and this happened this time. We were supposed to fly out of, let's say, 11A. That was our gate number, 11A. We get to 11A, and we're sitting there, we look up, boom, your gate has changed to 22B, and you're like, what in the world? So now you gotta pack all your stuff up and run down. And because it's such a large airport, even the little terminal sections are large, they call, but if you're not really paying attention, like if you're listening to a book, or you're reading, or you're trying to take like a quick nap, you may not hear them call that your flight is boarding, or your flight placement has changed. So just be vigilant, or look, I'm so tired I can't even think of the word. Mindful of that, cognizant. What is the word I'm looking for? It starts with a V, and it'll come to me after I finish this video. When I tell you guys I'm exhausted, we have literally been in an airport for the last 2 days. Yes, with Iceland Air. Again, I'll put that in a different video. So yeah, just be focused. My 3 tips I could give to you to wrap this video up is: 1, if you want to pay for 2 taxi cab rides and put it in your budget, then that's fine. But when you land at Charles de Gaulle, take the metro into the city. I'll talk about that in another video, because the metro really isn't that complex. My second tip is get there on time. Take that 3-hour rule and throw it out the window, at least 5 to 6, because Charles de Gaulle is mayhem. That way you can be patient and you won't be so anxious and upset. And my last tip for you is pray.